You are listening to the Guilt Free Spending Podcast, episode 75. Well, hello there, my friends. Y'all, 75 episodes? That is so cool. I honestly am so honored that you all are listening every single week. Thank you so much for gifting me with your time and attention. Seriously, I am so honored. I could just cry about it. But I'm very ugly when I cry, so I'm not going to do that right now. I'm very honored and very grateful. This experience of podcasting, y'all, I am so excited to do it every week because I remember when my sisters and I decided to create this business, this company where we're teaching women how to build a better relationship with money. You all, it was such a little tiny idea, but as our concepts got formed and developed, our philosophy on how we wanted to teach, what we wanted to say, how we wanted to guide our women. Because it's one thing to implement a process in your personal life, it's another thing to actually get it to other people so much so that it creates a shift, a change in their lives, right? So you have to make it so palatable to everyone else, and you have to test it and test it and test it and proof it, and so it required a lot of effort. And as you're doing the work, as we're working with more and more people, concepts, different ways to help different people with different circumstances came up on the surface. And so it felt so urgent for us to have a space where we shared all these amazing concepts so that you can already see the shift in your personal life even before you start working with us. Like, it was so important to me. I remember thinking I wanted to do a YouTube channel, but I was so afraid of technology. So the idea of doing a podcast behind a mic and no camera felt so much more available, and we started with that. And now we do have a YouTube channel, so if you ever want to watch us or me, because we have some group episodes on there as well, you can go to our YouTube channel. It's Green Wealth Legacy, very simple. But in the beginning, and I mean, we still don't have that many views, but I don't care. Like, I honestly, and I was saying this to a client a little bit ago that I was coaching. For me, I have never cared about other people's opinions. And I think that is so interesting because I used to think I was a people pleaser, but I am not. I love to make everyone comfortable. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to get in the topic of today's conversation, I promise. But I just got excited when I said the number 75. So it got me like, now I want to celebrate it, but it's taking me down this memory road. And I'm the queen of going down memory lane. So bear with me and celebrate with me. 75 episodes is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So let's just have fun with that. But I am one that loves to make people happy. And when I was younger, I used to confuse that for people pleasing. But I also remember never caring if my classmates liked me or not. I remember not caring if people approved what I did or not. So after doing deep reflection, I am not a people pleaser. I don't care what people think. Not because I don't care about people, but because my opinion is the most important so that it can take me to the next growth. If I focus so much on what other people are thinking, I'll be stuck in the same spot. And I never taken the time to do that. So I'm in my lane, which is why starting a business is so important that you stay in your lane, because otherwise you're not going to move forward. I knew that, listen, if 4 women use the financial confidence process and were successful despite their own different money stories, this is gold. And it has proven to be true. Our clients are living proof that this process is magic, and it just becomes so fun. So having the podcast to share these concepts, these tools with you so that you can really build your personal relationship and your relationship with money means the world to me. So thank you for listening. Okay, let's get into this topic. Today's title is money and you. And here's why. Most people that I talk to are so distracted by their physical circumstances. They're so distracted, they're so focused on the physical circumstances that they are pouting their way in trying to change their circumstance, their life, their reality. Here's what I mean. You want to feel free when it comes to money. You want to be able to spend your money however you want. You want to buy all the things you want. You want a lot of money, right? You want to do all the things. But when you look at your bank account, there's not enough money in there according to you. You stay focused on the fact that there's not enough money in there. You're so frustrated about that's all you think about. Even for my clients who have their weekly money dates, when they stay focused on the number itself, and that's all they can think about, how it's not enough, they're so frustrated. They don't want to do the mental and emotional work that I teach them so that they can actually change their relationship, their reality. Because the work that I teach to do with money is what changes the number in the bank account. But when you're so focused on the bank account, you are so frustrated, you pout, you whine, and you're so upset about the physical circumstances, you refuse to do the mental and emotional work required that actually does move the needle and changes your number in the bank account. So most people are so focused on the outside world, what's happening, what their eyes are physically seeing, they don't realize the most important part of the work is done within. So your reality will always be the reflection of your inner identity. Let me say that again. Your reality will always be the reflection of your inner identity. So while you're looking at your current bank balance, you don't like that number, and you allow yourself to sit with the frustration. Not sitting in a way that I teach about processing emotions, but sitting with it means you hold that as if it's like a fact, like, yes, this number is unsatisfactory. I hate it. I wish it was different. Money is so hard. If that's where you are, that is just reflecting how you feel on the inside. And so that number will reflect that. If you want a different number in your bank account, you must change the way you are feeling about money inside of your heart. You must decide that you live in abundance. You must decide that you are provided for always. You must decide that money is fun. That's how then you will take actions that will lead you to creating a life where money is actually fun. You practice the path until you become it. You don't get the path before you become the version of you who is on the path, who has created the path. We want to reverse the process, and that doesn't work. You can't do that. The way we look at life today is just the way we're thinking about it in our brains. Your thoughts create your results always. Always, my friend. Always. And here's what you do when you're so focused on the outside circumstances. You just can't let it go. Money is so hard. It's always feeling so tight. You know what you do? You take a bunch of actions from money is tight. Let me ask you a question. When you think money is tight, how do you feel? Because that emotion is what is driving those actions. And if that emotion is a negative emotion that isn't processed, then you're taking actions to remedy a situation that is not solvable at the action level. So no matter how many actions you take, you will always end up with money is hard. Which is why even when you make more money, you don't appreciate it. Because it was never about the amount of money. It was always about your attitude, the way you're thinking. So, let's think about this for a second. What do you think will happen if you decide to follow the process? Instead of trying to force the results, to rush to the result, what if you did take the time to sit down and really contemplate how much abundance you already have in your life? Like, really, what if you could list all the ways that your life is abundant and really sit with that? Abundance is an emotion. So you could feel abundant, but why would you feel abundant? What are the reasons? Could you list 10 reasons why you would feel abundant? Could you list the fact that you have your family and maybe all of the members of your family are still alive? Is that not amazing? Could you decide that, wait a minute, I have an amazing brain. With my brain, I could create any emotion that I want. Could you decide that could be a reason to feel abundant? There are so many emotions on the emotional spectrum that it's like a menu that doesn't end. I have access to all of the state of beings. If I want to be exhilarated today, I could just be exhilarated. If I want to be sad, I could just be sad. If I want to be ecstatic, if I want to be happy, I could just be that. Like instantly. How amazing. What if you decided the last time you had a girls' night out, that was like the most fun you had? And how incredible it is that you have such amazing friends. Could you be feeling abundant because you have so much love in your life? Your children are amazing. Your husband is so loving. You love him so much. His love is just the cherry on top, the icing on the cake. Could you find abundance in the fact that you're so physically healthy that life is just beautiful every day? Or if you're not physically healthy, could you feel abundance in the fact that despite your physical illness, you're still here listening to me? You're enjoying your gift of hearing. Your gifts of speech. You can speak. You can see. You can taste. You can feel. Isn't that amazing? Could you be feeling abundant that the sun is shining and then some days it doesn't shine, which is great because it kind of gives you a break? Could you feel abundant that when it rains in the spring, it preps the soil for planting, for an amazing summer? What are some things you could think about that could create abundance in your heart? Or gratitude? Or the feeling of awe? Could you reflect maybe the last time you felt awe? Like, oh my goodness. I have this thing that I do which I'm so excited about. I go run early in the morning before the daylight. Like, that's one of my favorite things, which in the summer is not so much because the sun rises super early, which is fine. I'm enjoying it all. But in the winter, fall, winter, and spring, I love it because I get to see the stars. And sometimes I've caught some shooting stars. So amazing. I've caught the moon at different shapes. It is so awe-inspiring, I can cry. And in that moment, I feel like my heart is going to burst. If only I could bottle it up. But I know I can do it again because the next week I'll do it again and I'll do it again. I have so many pictures of the moon and the stars and the sun and the sunset and the sunrise in my phone. It's ridiculous. I have more pictures of those things than pictures of my own humans that I love so much. That's how amazing nature is to me. Could you go on a hike and enjoy the hike so deeply that you come home feeling so abundant? Could you pay attention to the cycle of water in the world and notice how green that planet is and how amazing it has been constructed? to preserve life. Can you watch a documentary about nature that like builds so much awe in you that leads you to abundance? You are so well taken care of. You're so well designed, your body heals itself. Could that feel abundance? Could you build this habit of always going to abundance and gratitude so that you just become a person who is so happy no matter what the bank balance says? No matter what the work status says, could you decide that since your thoughts create your results, that you are in control of your results? Every day, what results do you want to create? And it doesn't matter what circumstance is aligning or not aligning, you decide. Because here's what is so magical about this idea. If your thoughts create your results, okay? Work with me with this. I want to take this slow so you can see the process here. If your thoughts create your results become your circumstances. And then you go through that cycle again. Which means, at the end of the day, you are responsible for changing your circumstances. What do you think about that? So if you think a thought and it generates an emotion, and from that emotion you take actions that create certain results, you're responsible for those results. Those results in turn become your reality, your circumstances. And so now those are the circumstances you're working with, which means you created them, which means you could do it again because you decide how you think. I'm going to give you an example. So, say I want to run a full marathon, which I've decided to do at the end, the second part of this year. So, if my thoughts determine my result, and I want to be done with this marathon, the result I want is the marathon, right? I want to run 26 miles. What is one thought? Because when I say your thoughts create your result, it's really all about your 60 to 70,000 thoughts you're thinking throughout the day. Some of them you're more aware than others. So the one you do choose on purpose is what guides you throughout the day. So what is one thought that I want to think about that is going to create the result of 26 miles of running? A very simple one. I'm capable. If I keep believing that I'm capable, I feel the emotion that I feel is not just capable, it's inevitable. And yes, I've decided that inevitable is an emotion. I've actually added that to our emotional workbook in Money Academy, because here's what's so fascinating about emotions. It's still on the debate table. The researchers and all the people that are studying emotions, they're still deliberating on which one is an emotion and which one is just a word. So guess what? I decided that inevitable is going to fit in. Because think about it. How do you feel when you feel inevitable? Don't you feel inevitable? I'm just kidding. But if I think I am capable, I feel inevitable. If I feel inevitable, what actions do I take? I follow through with my schedule, my running schedule, with my eating schedule, with my sleep schedule, with my mindset work, right? Let's say there's just those 4 things, because there's so many other actions. By the way, when you're doing this sequence, always make sure you list all of the actions you could possibly, because one emotion will drive multiple actions most of the time. If I follow through on those 4 pillars, what is the result I'm going to create? I ran 26 miles. That will become a circumstance, because now a circumstance or my reality is I have run 26 miles. I have ran 26 miles. I'm a marathoner. I created that reality from just the way I'm thinking. Because guess what? If I decide to think, this is so hard, I'm crazy for running so long, right? People who don't run, that's what they're thinking. They're like, you're insane for running that long. They're not creating a reality of being a marathoner. Your thoughts create your results. Your reality will always be a reflection of your inner identity. Your inner identity is all of the thoughts you believe, all your belief system. So what are you going to choose to believe? Because you can believe anything you want. You do not have to believe the standard belief systems that are established in the world. You can decide to believe the opposite. You can decide to believe whatever is going to serve you. So you can run this sequence. Decide what belief, what thought do I want to believe over and over and over, right? And then how do that make me feel? And when I feel this way, what actions do I take? What result would I create? So you can even put the results, you can plug the results, say what result do I want to create, and go back up the line. This is how you live your life on purpose. Now, you're going to have a lot of obstacles along the way. Your brain is going to offer you all kinds of things. And this is why coaching makes a huge difference, because then you start to need the support to see your blind spots. Because sometimes going through this sequence is one thing, living through this sequence is a different thing. Which is why me running a marathon, I'm not doing that by myself. I'm going to get a coach. Let me tell you, my friend, I cannot afford, I don't have time for this foolishness. Trying to manage my own mind to run 26 miles? No, thank you. I will not do that to myself. I am running a business. I have a lot of activity in my life that I love very much. And I'm not going to add trying to run 26 miles on my own in the mix of all that. Trying to manage my mind through that. Like, what? I mean, I could probably do it, but I don't want to. Why should I? I want the support. So I'm getting a coach for this specific endeavor so that I can be supported. And so that's the work. That is your work. Because most people, when they're thinking about, they're looking at their result, they're looking at their circumstances, they're looking at their reality, which is all the same thing, right? And they don't like what they're seeing. They'll take a bunch of actions trying to like overcome this, trying to change the circumstances, trying to move things around. You change your circumstances from your thinking, not from the doing, not from efforting. Your effort first in your brain, and then you take actions that go along with that. That's the work. So I want to run you through a process to help you identify who you are on the inside. Because here's the thing. You are going to want to convince yourself that you are this person on the inside. But if you do not have the results you want, then you're not yet. And believe that, okay? Don't fight that reality. Because if you had the personality, the identity of the person who has the results you want, you would have had them. So that just means you need to bridge the gap. And the first thing to do to bridge the gap is to identify what is going on the inside. So put down the ego, put down the rose-colored lenses, and let's peek in to see what's really happening. I wrote this down to walk you through. So how you identify who you are on the inside, so you know the gap you need to bridge to get to the other side. The first thing you want to do is write down a result that you have. So whether you're trying to lose weight, you can write down your current weight, or you can write down your current bank account. You can write down your current debit card, your credit card debt. And then you're going to answer these questions. What is the result? So first you write down that result. So you want to identify what is that result. So that's the first thing. So, but the reason I want you to ask these questions is because I want you to notice how you speak about that result. Okay? Are you blaming that result on anyone, or are you talking about it from being responsible for it? Which is why the next question is important. So you want to know, you want to state your result and notice how you talk about it. What's the tone? Are you like, ugh, my bank account is still not what I want it to be. Money is still feeling so tight. Or, well, this is how much I have, and that's where we're at right now. Like, you see the difference? There's a level of responsibility here that you're taking on, or you're assigning it to something else or someone else. Okay? The second question is, why do you have that result? And now is where you're really going to take that 100% responsibility, accountability, because you have to realize that the result is the fruit of your thinking. So determine why you have that result. What result would you rather have? Why don't you have it? Again, pay attention to the reasons you're giving me for why you don't have the results. Are they blaming someone else? Is it someone else's responsibility for those results? Or is it something that you are responsible for? Are you first listing me all the things you can't control, and that's the reason why you have the results you have? Or are you telling me only what is it that you did to create those results? And I've already told you, if you want different results, just run it through the sequence. Plug the results in and then decide how you're going to feel and think that will create those results. And if you need any help with this process, and something that I've said tonight resonate tonight, I'm recording and it's nighttime. Hopefully you're listening to this at nighttime too. But if anything I've said resonates, and you want to go deeper and you want to explore this path of financial confidence where you are responsible for creating your own reality on purpose, I want to invite you to sign up for a free consultation through our website at greenwealthlegacy.com. When you get onto the home page, there is a first button that's going to ask you to sign up for a consult. Book your consult, it's going to say. Click on that, select the schedule that works for you. If there is a schedule, if you have any obstacles about the timing on the time slots you're seeing there and something isn't working for you, email us at the team at Green Wealth Legacy, and we will reach out and find a time that works for you. I will make it work for you. Because during this consultation, I will walk you through how the financial confidence process helps you bridge the gap from the results you have right now to the results you want, and what it would take for you to become the person that has achieved those results. This in of itself is the most powerful hour you can spend to achieve this, to do this work. So this is a gift you can give yourself. So after you answer these questions and you decide, I want to work through this process, go to greenwealthlegacy.com, book your consult. Let's meet, let's map out your journey to financial confidence. Have an incredible rest of your week, my friends. I love you all so much. Let's celebrate episode 75 together. All right, I see you in the next episode.